What's up guys, I'm Roderick, aka Rodman, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the best summons from each Souls game. Now before we get into the video, there are a few Souls games where summons don't exist, such as Demon Souls and Sekiro, so don't be surprised when they're left off the list for this video. If you like retro video gaming, anime, and gameplay videos, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. So let's get right into the video. So for the best summon in Dark Souls 1, that is easily going to go to the Knight Solaire, aka Sunbro. This guy is a really good ally to have on your side. And on top of that, he's a really cool person. Like, his personality is very great. He's very uplifting. And he's just a great guy to have around when you can use him. There's two downsides to Knight Solaire though. In Dark Souls 1, to summon somebody, you need to be a human, which is very inconvenient because that means you have to use humanities if you're dead and stuff like that, which can be very annoying. But it's really worth it because Knight Solaire helps you with some of the hardest boss fights in the entire game, such as Ornstein and Smough. Knight Solaire is an absolute game changer in this fight. The Gaping Dragon, he really helped a lot in. So it's very worth it just to go through that extra trouble of making sure you're a human and stuff like that. Probably the biggest problem with Knight Solaire though is that sometimes he'll get stuck outside the boss room fighting enemies. So just be careful of that. Just make sure you kill all the enemies before you summon him and you will be absolutely fine. He's really tanky. He can heal. He has magic. He's just all around just a great person to have on your side. So I think that Sunbro Knight Solaire is the best summon in Dark Souls 1. So let's go ahead and move on to Dark Souls 2. So for the best summon in Dark Souls 2, I'm going to go with Lucatiao of Mira. And if you don't know who that is, she is a woman who you find in the keep at the very beginning of the game. And she's very mysterious. She doesn't tell you a lot of information. So pretty much her lore is that she's looking for her brother. And she's overall just a really cool person. And in my personal opinion, I believe that she is the equivalent of Knight Solaire. She's generally uplifting to you. And she helps you out with some of the most annoying boss fights in the entire game. An area that she's really helpful in is the Black Gulch, one of the worst areas in Souls history, and it's great to have her there helping you. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, she does turn into a hollow, which is very devastating. But as far as the gameplay and just how helpful she is to you during boss fights, she's very helpful. She does a lot of damage. She uses a rapier, and she's just really cool. Now there are some other summons that are good in Dark Souls 2. You know, towards the beginning of the game, fighting Dragon Rider, and things like that. The summons are very useful, but I believe that Lucatiao definitely takes the cake in terms of gameplay and personality. So let's go ahead and move on to Dark Souls 3. So for the best summon in Dark Souls 3, I'm definitely going to go with the Londor Pale Shade. And pretty much I was back and forth between using or saying Yuri of Londor or the Londor Pale Shade. But I believe that the Pale Shade's magic is too strong and too useful for him not to be the best summon in the game. It's so strong that the magic actually aggroes a lot of bosses, and on top of that, Londor can help you during some of the hardest boss fights in the game, such as Abyss Watchers, and you can summon this guy literally during the final boss if you need him. But to actually be able to use this summon, obviously you need to kill him during a invasion, but you need to have a relationship with Yuri of Londor, reach a certain level of +5, I believe. And it's a little tedious doing that, but this summon is so good, I believe that it's worth it. But any NPC that uses a lot of magic is usually going to be very, very, very useful to you, because while you're in there, you know, fighting him, they can stand in the back line and, you know, cast away and just nuke him. But let's go ahead and move on to Bloodborne. So for the best summon in Bloodborne, there are a lot of useful summons actually, but the one that takes the cake easily for me is going to be Mensis Scholar Damien. Oh my goodness, just the nature of the fight of Rom. There's a billion spiders that can all one-shot you, and as the fight goes on, more and more spiders are spawned, and it's really, really hard. Honestly, one of the hardest bosses in the Souls series if you're trying to do this thing solo dolo. So to have somebody to take some aggro is literally game changing. I would say, to be quite real with you, maybe fighting Rom without this summon might be harder than fighting Ornstein and Smo solo dolo. That's just my personal opinion. The spiders, they don't do a little bit amount of damage. They all can one-shot you. And don't forget Rom, he ain't just going to let you hit him. He's going to be attacking you as well. But this guy's an absolute monster. He can heal himself. He has magic. He can do anything that you can do. He can dodge. He has a bunch of blood vials. So that's very, very, very useful. And that's pretty much it for Bloodborne. So I'm definitely going to say the best summon in Bloodborne is definitely going to Mensis Scholar Damien. And before I go to the next segment, there's actually a hunter fight right before you can fight Rom that is really, really hard because it's in a close corridor. And Mensis Scholar Damien can help you with that as well. So that just gives him extra points. But let's go ahead and move on to Elden Ring. So you guys probably aren't surprised with this pick at all. Mimic Tear is not only the best summon in Elden Ring, it is definitely the best summon in all of Souls history. If you guys don't know what Mimic Tear is, it is literally a clone of yourself that can use all the abilities that you can use, that can dodge, that can roll. The only thing that it can't do is use Estus Flask, which is really not that big of a deal because Mimic Tear leveled up all the way is quite tanky. But Mimic Tear is so strong, as you can see in this video. Mimic Tear is soloing Melania, which is the hardest boss in Souls history. It is absolutely absurd how strong Mimic Tear is. It's so strong to the point where the devs of Elden Ring actually nerfed this guy to the ground. They tried to make his AI, you know, less intelligent, but he's still extremely, extremely powerful. And one thing that makes Mimic Tear so powerful is that it has no FP, which means that it can spam your Ash of Vor over and over and over again with no drawback, which is absolutely insane. For example, I used the Radon Greatswords, and my Mimic Tear literally used his AoE attack like 8 times in a row and was melting bosses. It's insane. But this probably isn't a surprise to anybody. Mimic Tear is just crazy strong, and honestly a necessity when you get to certain bosses like Goskin Duo. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. Let me know if you guys agreed or disagreed with the list. Ramen out. Peace.